Democracy is very tough to manage, but it's the best form of government.
We must promote unity, stability, and economic justice for everyone.
The question of security is paramount in my mind because women are the high victim of insecurity.
Our diversity is an asset if we know how to use it.
Operation Fix Nigeria, that aptly describes the mindset from the presidency at this critical moment of nation building. But honestly speaking, fixing this great country will require suggestive ideas, strategic homegrown solutions, and purposeful leadership. With sincere commitment by all and sundry. So let's talk about fixing Nigeria by looking at issues from the perspective of the presidency and Nigerians on the Presidency in Focus on TV Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome back to the studio. This is the Presidency in Focus program on TV Nigeria. And of course, like we said, Operation Fix Nigeria, that is the mindset from the presidency right away. But really, it's not all about the desire to fix the country. It's all about coming up with homegrown solutions, strategies, and ideas to actualize the much expected, of course, repositioning of Nigeria. And so to look at this issue with us today, we're going to be speaking with a barrister, a very learned lawyer who has carved a niche for himself in terms of successfully handling high-profile cases. And of course, he is also a public affairs analyst, a public relations consultant, and a leadership expert. Let me welcome Barrister Durojaiye. Barrister, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we also have a governance consultant, leadership expert, a journalist, and of course, he is also a pastor. Let's welcome Mr. Israel Oluwasegun. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Now, Barrister Durojaiye, a fundamental development took place recently. The president read the Riot Act to the federal ministers that you must perform. If you cannot, you take a walk because the bulk stops on his table. So, Barrister, what do you make of the president's very confident and determined statement at the recent ministerial retreat?
Thank you very much. As far as I'm concerned, and in my own considered opinion, I think our current president, Bola Tinubu, is the best man for the job. He knows his onions and he knows how to go about it. He has the idea, good agenda for Nigerians. Though they said a bird cannot fly with one hand, it cannot fly alone, it has to work with other people, and that's the ministers. So I quite agree with the admonition he gave to the ministers. I quite agree with the marching order he gave to the ministers. And they said one thing while listening to him, that if you perform, you don't have anything to fear. But if you don't perform, well, please, I will not hesitate to show you the way out. I think that's the best thing. I will only appeal and had my own voice that the ministers too should try as much as possible to do things that are expected of them, so that it will make us, we the general populace, happy. Because this is an era of fixing it. And not only fixing it, but fixing it properly. Fixing it very well. Our president has a good intention, and that's what I've been telling people, has good mindset. I just pray that the people around him, the current minister, will do his biddings too, So by performing very well and go extra mile in delivering the dividend of democracy to the people.
Mr. Israel Oluwasegun, most of the ministers seem to be like new kids on the block. We see some level of technocrats, very few of them politicians. And those technocrats who are very new, we saw some youthful energy injected into the ministerial cabinet. And the president is talking about performance. Don't you think they will still need some level of period to get well integrated in order to deliver on the much expectations?
Like you said, most of the ministers we currently have, although most of them are young, but they were technocrats already making very big strides in their chosen, professional areas of endeavor. Somebody I will always talk about that is already impressing a lot of people is the guy in interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo. He's doing very well there. And you see, it's very impressive and highly encouraging that twice this week, the president has made it very clear to all his subordinates that it won't be business as usual and that he will not tolerate or accept mediocrity. On Wednesday, in fact, he went as far as telling them that there will be a monitoring team committee that will be headed by Hadiza Bala Usman, and that periodically they will keep re-evaluating and reviewing the performances of every one of them. And it's either you shape in or you shape out. I think they have what it takes intellectually, professionally. But my concern and my fear is always with the political will. In fact, the president has done something that I like. He has balanced certain things out. He has shown that if you are doing well as a subordinate, no matter what people say about you, you don't have any problem. Just keep, look at the way he stood up for Femi Gbajabiamila, his chief of staff on Monday. Even, he did something very, very impressive. I will tell you that it's like this man means business. Even his own son, at the Federal Executive Council meeting, he said the previous one they did. Later, when he was looking at some of the pictures, he saw his son, Sheyi, at the back of one of the ministers in a cubicle, and he was like, what did Sheyi come to do? Is Sheyi a minister or a special assistant? And he said, as from now on, even Sheyi, he doesn't want to see. If you are not invited, you are not supposed to be there. So it's not going to be business as usual. It's serious, and I think with the kind of backing. And in fact, he said another thing. He told most of the ministers that feel free to correct me, even me, if I'm wrong. That only God is perfect. Just don't be hostile, don't be rude. And if you correct me and I look at things and I feel you are correct, I will. That is not ashamed to. So I think he's a man that is ready to work and is ready to lead by example.
Thank you very much. Barrister Durojaiye, one thing is that the president said the ball stops on my table. And we have the president who takes final decision, who comes up with ideas because he has so many advisors. I just want to find out from you, Barrister, wouldn't there be some kind of cross-purpose, kind of clash between what the special advisors are bringing on board and what the ministers are doing? Because the president has special advisors in those ministerial, those key areas. So what do you think? Wouldn't there be some kind of confusion?
If you remember our system of government, we are running a presidential system of government, and we have an executive president, not just ordinary president. And being an executive president, definitely the buck must stop on his table. And being a man that knows his onions, who has tried and tested before, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there will be any clash. Because it is one thing to put on the thing on the table, argue it out, and if you are okay, you take it.
Mr. Segun.
If you ask me, I think the president doesn't necessarily need the number of advisors and special assistants he has. Already, there are clashes in interests and that kind. You hear that Akume and the Senate President Akpabio, they are already doing some things against the Chief of Staff, and because most of these things are just, if you ask me, unnecessary duplications. I think there should be a cut down on the number and the size. It's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Okay, from the look of things, if you look at the list of the special advisors, you find that these are also top technocrats, and these are successful individuals and experts in their own field. And of course, from my research, it's also obvious that the duties or functions are carefully spelled out. But my worry is, talking about ministers performing, and of course, with the special advisors. That was why I was a little bit concerned. Barrister, maybe you want to add to what we just said.
My own position is that, as far as the president is concerned, most of the people that are working with him now are some of the people that he has their in-depth knowledge. He knows them, maybe in one way or the other.
He knows their capacity.
He knows their capacity. And what I've heard from him is that before he can put in the position of responsibility, he must have been somebody he has confidence in and he knows you can perform. Let me quickly cite an example. Before Fashola became a governor, he was a chief of staff. I was told Fashola was working in his uncle's chamber as a lawyer. They said anytime Ashwaju goes to see his uncle, he will always be Fashola on his desk, on his table, reading, doing the job, concentrating. And that's where he noticed it. When he wanted to appoint a new chief of staff, he has to bring him on board. That's how Fashola became on board. And when he came on board, you could see his performance, the way he was doing the job, always in the office, arranging everything. That's how he supported him to become the governor. And the rest is history. So as far as Ashwaju is concerned, no, from the distance where I watch him, I think there will be no duplication. The special advisor who doesn't advise very well will leave.
If I can just quickly add a little. You see, the issue is not about the capacity of those that the president is bringing. He knows, in fact, when it comes to choosing the best men, recognizing and discovering talents, I think he's probably the best in the country. Some of the best technocrats and all that we have now came through Tinubu. So it's not about capacity, but we are talking about clash of interest. One of the things he was telling them at the retreat was, don't be insubordinate to your superiors. He was trying to say something that, well, maybe we have clearly delineated some of your roles, but some of you, maybe there won't be any problem anyway at the end of it, because ultimately the buck stops at his table and he knows what to do with what he knows how to separate the grain from the chaff, so.
Yeah, Barrister, I wanted to add to that.
What I want to add is, let us downplay this issue of clash of interest. If you have any interest, your interest will be on how to improve and fix Nigeria. The moment you have a personal Indian agenda or personal interest, you'll be booted out. The president will discover you. So, with the look of things, and with the standard the man put in place when he was governor of Lagos State, I don't believe that this issue of clash of interest or business as usual will.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, Barrister Durojaiye and Mr. Segun, we have a high wave of decamping even before the Supreme Court judgment. And now, with the Supreme Court judgment, there seems to be, a drove of decamping from NNPP, from PDP, all into APC. We just finished talking about appointment, and of course we talked about performance of ministers. APC as a ruling party is in a position now to absorb the good, the bad, and the ugly from the opposition party. Do these people really have intention or good intentions, or because they feel that, there's a sad news for their party and they're looking for somewhere to come in? The APC logo is not an umbrella. So would it be able to accommodate, Segun, what do you think, really?
That's one of the very unfortunate and funny things about Nigerian politics. Somebody said we have too many professional politicians, instead of professionals in politics. And what's the difference? Most of our politicians, politics is their work, is their livelihood, is their daily runs. That's the only thing they have. Unlike maybe you and I, maybe you are a lawyer, you are just in politics to try and make a difference. And if politics doesn't work, you simply go back to your pharmacy, your law, or your profession. It's not a do or die affair. But when you have someone who takes politics as is, that's the only thing he does. He's ready to kill anybody. And so there are no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. That's the thing. You know, I heard that about almost 50 from NNPP, they come to, in fact, Durojaiye welcomed them. And you see, but basically, I personally, I don't even have much problems with that. As long as those people, the campaign, are not holding elective roles. The major problem I have is when you were voted in as a senator or a rep or something in a particular party and you carry that mandate and you go to, I think that's very wrong and it should be taken care of constitutionally. You know, that's not good. Now, in the US, in other climes, you will see people who have been Democrats for 30 years. They've not even been winning seats, but that doesn't mean they will leave the party because they truly believe in the ideology of that party. But here, we have people who don't even have any ideology. It's all about what they will eat.
Okay,
and what
but,
they are, you know. So
yeah, but Durojaiye, some of the decampees have argued that the President Bola Tinubu government is a winning team and they want to be part of this winning team. Some of them have argued that they believe in President Tinubu, they feel they need to go back. Some of them were initially in APC and they are going back again. So, Barrister, what do you think? There is this general mindset that President Tinubu has a large heart. He will welcome anybody. So,
my brother, let me tell you the truth from our personal perspective. I think the issue of the campaign and coming join from one party to the other is basically a lack of morality. Majority of our politicians lacks that moral standard. If you have been what like I told you initially, I said Tinubu, I've never met him physically in my life. I've only seen him in paper, in radio, and on television, and newspaper. But if you look at his background and his way he conducted himself politically, you can see that he's a man that is focused and that is highly principled. He started from AD, he didn't leave AD until when they formed AC, the old people they moved to AC, from AC to ACN, from ACN to APC. And even when Obasanjo removed all the Southwest governors that are loyal to AUPN or APC then, Obasanjo did not the camp. He didn't, because of that, join PDP, to join the bandwagon. It's lack of morality. But what I like in the man, or what I cherish in his politics is that his eyes are opened. He knows who is sincere, and he knows those who want they want where they can get their butter, their bread buttered. That's my own personal assessment of him. If you are in PDP today, tomorrow if it's APC that's in power, you jump. Tomorrow, after tomorrow, if APC is not there, you jump back again. It's a wrong signal.
Mr. Segun, what's your advice to the APC as a party?
You know, they should be very careful with the kind of people. In fact, you see, maybe they should be rejecting some people. At times, when people decamp, they bring problems. They come to scatter the ground. No. You know, because some of them will come now. They are just coming, but they will start looking forward to getting positions and fighting with people they met.
No, the Constitution of Nigeria allows freedom of association.
Okay, yes.
You are free to associate with anybody at any point in time. What I would recommend is that to the leadership of the party, they should know who is who is sincere,
maybe that's a more
honest,
diplomatic way of saying it.
Sincere.
Some of them are liabilities.
Because some of people never. God bless.
They are just bringing. They are looking for what they will eat. They don't believe in any idea. They don't believe in anything. They just feel this is the current person now. This is where the food is. Let's go there.
Like what I've just this your quotation of what would they eat. I remember a story where Bola was working with Obasanjo as Minister of Mines and Power. Then Sunday Afolabi, who was a PDP shifting, said, maybe we invite you to come and eat. But Bola answered the question, there's nothing. Hey, Ambassador going for me to come and eat. Eat what? I'm a successful man before. So what do you do? So some people believe they are government to come and eat.
Yeah,
not because of that.
It's all about themselves, not about the people.
What I'm saying in a sense is that people, in as much as possible, the leadership of the party should sit down very well, know who is who, know who is lawyer, and who is not, and check, have a background check of everybody. Background check, so that you know this person is not coming to us to come and support our vision and mission, but is coming to scatter. Because it's looking for where to survive.
Let's look at the issue of government spending and loan requisition. Nigeria today is owing so much. Of course, before President Bola Tinubu came on board, former President Buhari has a baggage of loans, unpaid loans. But first, Mr. Segun, let me start with you. It's one thing to take a loan, and it's another thing to judiciously spend the loan. This is bringing us to the supplementary budget, which, of course, Nigerians are aware about. And as of today, the president has also requested for $7.8 billion loan, and of course, £100 million loan. So loan acquisition or loan requisition and government spending. What's your take? How do we balance it?
The problem has nothing to do with taking loans. Even America. America is one of the most indebted countries in the world. They take loans. Wow. My advice to Mr. President, he should be a bit more careful with this recurrent, Nigeria, let him put things in place that will make Nigeria become a producing nation instead of a consuming nation.
Barrister, you have anything to say?
What I just want to add is that Yoruba people will say, there's no way you can run a good government without spending money, without looking for more loan from here and there. But my only advice that if they take loan, we want to use this loan for development of infrastructure or anything, let us spend the money there. At the end of the day, all of us will be happy for it. Like if you go to Ekpe now, if you see the type of something they are laying there, you'll be happy.
That's capital expenditure, putting infrastructures in place that will help businesses to germinate and then profit. That's look at, for example, we have agriculture. There are things that can even encourage the youths. We talked about mechanized farming, bringing technology into our, to make it attractive to the youths. Those are the kind of things we are talking about. So it's not about, spending money or taking loans. It's what you are using the money and the loans.
Okay, maybe Barrister Durojaiye want to add more?
No, I just want to correct one thing. If you listen to the special advisor to the Senate President on media and publicity, when he was defending this issue of SUV and every other thing, he raised one point which I quite agree with him. He said if they say want to buy biros, three packet of biros, according to his definition, it's not that me, I'm a Nigerian, I produce biro. You are a Londoner, you produce biro. You are an American, you produce biro. What is important is that the quality of the biro you are producing, is it a good one? Is it the one that you take money, you not produce, you not supply, and run away, run abroad with the money? So in that area is that even because you mentioned Toyota, if Toyota price is cheaper than the one being produced in the next door neighbor, there's nothing bad if you patronize them. But what I'm saying is that let us be sincere in everything we do. Sincerity is most important to me as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, of course, let's look at the student loan idea. Mr. Segun, well, fantastic idea, but the issue is this. What's your level of knowledge about this student loan, and how do you think government can actually implement it?
This student loan idea is not really a new thing. America has been doing it for a very long time. In fact, that's how most of their own students have been able to go to school, even while working and that kind of a thing. But you see, the problem, we don't lack very good ideas in this country. My problem is always with the implementation, because number one, the fear of the money getting into the wrong hands. Imagine the son of a billionaire whose father can even send to the best schools in the world, Harvard, Oxford, and still applying for student loan and getting it before some other, downtrodden people who can, that's one of the major problems we have in this country. You see things that is supposed to be meant for the masses, the poor, still getting into the hands of the rich. That's my number one, Then number two concern that I have is these student loans, after giving it out to people, like the one for the farmers during Emefiele's, most of those farmers didn't pay back because the proper structures were not in place.
Barrister Durojaiye, is about putting the proper structure in place for this to work. But what do you think about the loan idea?
The loan idea is a fantastic idea. It's a good idea. The only thing which my brother Riley said is that the things we should get to the actual person, student that need the money. Not the child of a millionaire to go and be taking it. How much is the money? Go and be taking student loan. But like the president has said somewhere, that the university lecturers, the vice chancellors and everything will take time to know the student they are going to give it to. Is it an indigent student or a very rich one? they should devise a means of carrying out the background check of each student to know who actually needs it, and then what is the performance of that student. Is he a good grade student, or you end up with a dropout? So if they pass out and they get job, to pay back not be a problem. Then we can be, rolling over the loans so that everybody will be happy.
Okay, thank you very much. You're still watching the Presidency in Focus on TV Nigeria. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Okay, you're welcome back. Barrister Durojaiye, PPP, Public-Private Partnership. We've seen this work in states. We've seen it work to an appreciable level in the federal level. There's some suggestions at a recent forum that in terms of developmental projects, just like Mr. Segun said, government does not have business doing business. What do you make of the suggestion that the President Bola Tinubu should, do 80% of PPP in all the developmental projects in the country?
As far as I'm concerned, I have no objection to it. I have no objection, because reason being that if they do the PPP in that form, it will energize, motivate the actual performer, the actual people that will implement it to implement the program. But if everything is left in the hand of the government, some people will look at it and say, this is not government funds. Let's do anything we want with it, Jali, and go home and sleep. And then after that retirement, nobody will come and call me back again. But if it is in the hand of private people who will handle it sincerely, honestly, that is better. And then they should spread it. Not that only one man will be the custodian, where other people will not have access to it. Let's spread and let's give room for competition. Competition. Where you buy, there's not only one man that will be supplying
no monopoly
with sugar. Let other people do it. So that there's the competition. And
monopoly.
Then the life will be better. More job will be created. Everybody will be happy.
Okay, Mr. Segun, what's your comment on this?
You see, it's a no-brainer for me. It's not rocket science. Go to better climes, more advanced. You see, the best professionals are definitely in the private sector. Look at even sports in Nigeria. Government is still on. That's very funny. In other countries, private, they are the ones moving sports, and that's why things are working.
Yes.
All government needs to do is to make the environment conducive. No monopoly for anybody. Yes. So government has nothing much to offer when it comes to technocrats and business. That's why they have to leave it for the private sector. But if government does not make the environment conducive, the private sector too cannot do much. The private sector will fail.
Well, still in the spirit of fixing Nigeria, the president's removal of subsidy has snowballed into quite a number of issues and challenges. But the president also assured that the Port Harcourt refinery will be ready by December. We've also heard about trillions of dollars or naira spent to try to revamp the refineries. And the argument has been that, look, these refineries are moribund. Why don't we sell them off or do away with them? But this is where I'm going. Barrister, as I speak to you, from information gathered, there are at least close to 10 or 15 modular refineries that are ready to run. Of course, we are aware of Dangote's own refinery, looking at the capacity of the barrels. But the issue we're hearing is that they're not getting enough quantity of crude to refine. The little one they have, they're able to produce, appreciable level of diesel. But the major PMS is an issue. Barrister, any advice really to the president on this matter?
I won't say with all my mouth widely open that the president is a seasoned technocrat and is a man that have appreciable knowledge, that knows what goes on in the private sector. The president should try as much as possible to make sure that those people ready, they are ready, that it should start the production, so that it will allay the fears of people that are raising eyebrow. We don't have affected too about the high cost of fuel and every other thing. Because if our refineries are working, the fuel price will come down.
Yeah, Mr. Shegun.
I heard too that the crude, which is our own, that we get free of charge, that God gave us, that currently is somehow scarce. Remember that there was a time we did an oil swap, crude oil swap for $3 billion or something. It's not as if the thing is not available. It's just that maybe there is a deal also with some other people that don't worry, you are the ones who will be bringing it to and giving it to. In fact, if the president is very, very serious about fighting corruption, like I believe he is, that's a sector. The enormity of the kind of corruption going on in that place is colossal. It's gigantic. It's something else. Even the Senate is trying to probe over 12 trillion of maintaining. How can you be maintaining something that is not working? Something is not working, but you still have people there collecting salaries for decades now. Even with the followers, we should stop celebrating. When you see someone, you don't even care about the source of wealth, where he got his money. You are just giving chieftaincy titles, and So, sir, you see, there is a cabal that is almost more powerful than the country. But we got on our side, and with the political will of the president, I think we can always, it's a very powerful cabal.
A young man was confiding in me, just of recent, that he regretted going to school. I said, what do you mean? School. He was working in a bank. He said, if you see how much those militants, how much they have in their accounts, you may be marveled. You see what they have.
Barrister, you're a lawyer. Is it possible for the president to come up with a committee or a commission to handle oil theft instead of leaving it in the hands of the ex-militants? Most of these contracts were done by the former president. So what do you think, Barrister?
My own advice or suggestion is that the president should set up a committee in line and in conjunction with the modus operandi and the activities of the ex-militants in looking at the way by which our pipeline and the other will be secured, and then appeal. I use the word appeal to the ex-militant to join force with government representatives in seeing that there's free flow of crude and oil in the Niger Delta. Just to appeal to them to cooperate.
But government is spending so much paying these ex-militants.
Tompolo, government, Egbemepolo, he has a 4 billion naira, I think, per year contract, securing,
But it's getting the job done.
No, that's he's getting, in fact,
because they know the terrain.
He's doing the job better than the Nigerian Navy that she will be manning. In fact, some of the oil thefts, the Navy has been indicted several times. Like it's even some of the officers. Even Asari Dokubo said it. And see, there was a tanker about over 1 million barrels of this thing that they caught. They blew it up. Why did they blow it up? Because they didn't want people to ask. Because if they start talking, a lot of even you yourself, you'll be, So Tompolo, you see, what I will suggest is for government to, the committee or a commission of trusted hands, take people brilliant, but do it in conjunction. Because these guys, they know, they are the ones who know the creeks. They know it's just like policing. Some of us believe that if you start picking policemen to police certain areas, which are the same areas from where they come. For example, if you have a police guy that grew up around Ikeja, for him to police Ikeja would be very easy. He knows all the nooks and even if a thief is running, without following that thief, he can guess where that particular thief ran into. So that's why you need the Tompolos. You can't do it without them. And if you try that, it won't work. In fact, it's better you do it with only them, without those government guys, than doing it with those government without them. It won't work.
Well, the court brouhaha is over. Barrister, I'm sorry, your colleagues, quite a number of them are still heating up the polity over these whole legal issues. I don't know. What's your advice to them?
My advice to them is that they should rethink of their stand. As a party, I'm not happy with the attitude of some of my colleagues. Senior colleagues, and some of my senior colleagues, and some of my colleagues too. So I want to appeal to them. Appeal that they should mellow it down.
I think the law should just take its course. We are not saying the Supreme Court is perfect. I said it, the Supreme Court is final. That's what the Constitution says. After now, there shouldn't be any talk or anybody that violates that. We have rules and regulations. Let the law take its course.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming on the program. But before we go, finally, let's look at security in the country. The president has been very emphatic about ensuring the security and safety of lives and property in Nigeria. But quick fix solutions with regards to security. As we speak, there are still kidnappings. Of course, we've also heard the Nigerian military recording success in snuffing out life from some of the terrorists. But these are just pockets. But there's still some level of insecurity in the country. Barrister, what would you advise the president to do?
In that aspect, in that regard, the president should be kind enough to make sure that they were given the necessary tools to perform their functions. Because if they were given necessary tools, like the surveillance helicopters, surveillance equipment and every other thing, drones and every material that we need, their job will be easier. Nobody want to put his life at risk without getting the necessary equipment to work with. I will just appeal to our president, which I know we do, to make sure that he approves the necessary materials, equipment that those people will use in curbing and putting an end to insecurity problem in our country.
You see, this indulgence of these terrorists, I think it's high time we stop. Especially the northern. The other day, I saw a notorious terrorist who is now a policeman in Kaduna. And a lot of people said, what's the meaning of this? But some people were saying, no, it's okay. That's a better way to, well, maybe it works like that at times. But all these repentant Boko Haram, they then rehabilitate them. A lot of times, you hear that most of them still go back to that thing. And it's dangerous because you've already brought them in. While you were rehabilitating, they've seen a lot of things about your security architecture. When they go back, they are more dangerous than before they came in.
All right. So, Barrister, your final word to the president.
My appeal to the president is that he should not allow himself to be distracted. He should continue to focus on what he's doing. To me, he's doing well, and he meant well, and going to do well by the grace of God. But he should not allow himself to be distracted by all this noise maker, by all this tribal houser, and by all these morally bankrupt politicians. I'm not saying all politicians are morally bankrupt. The majority of them are morally bankrupt. If they do that, I think at the end of the day, we'll laugh, and we'll come back to praise him.
But simply put, the president should just try and insulate himself from sycophants. People who are, like the barrister said, there are some people, they are there for some other things. They are not there for, he should just. But I know he's a veteran politician. He's been there. He knows all these things, and I just pray God will help him to do it.
Mr. Israel Oluwasegun, want to thank you for coming on the program. Barrister Durojaiye, thank you, sir, for coming on the program. We appreciate you. Nation building really is a collective responsibility. So our encouraging comments, solution-driven views and opinions are no doubt positive game changers to support the presidency to deliver. We invite you to subscribe to our web TV, www.tvnigeria.ng, our YouTube channel, TV Nigeria 808, and equally follow us on our Facebook, Twitter at TV Nigeria, and Instagram at TV Nigeria 1. Keep it locked on TV Nigeria. Thanks for watching.